It was perfectly clear that the Signor Sinbad, Franz's host, had the honor of being on excellent terms with the smugglers and bandits along the whole coast of the Mediterranean, and so enjoyed exceptional privileges. As to Franz, he had no longer any inducement to remain at Monte Cristo. He had lost all hope of detecting the secret of the grotto. He consequently dispatched his breakfast, and, his boat being ready, he hastened on board, and they were soon under way. At the moment the boat began her course, they lost sight of the yacht, as it disappeared in the Gulf of Porto Vecchio. With it was effaced the last trace of the preceding night, and then supper, Sinbad, hashish, statues, all became a dream for Franz. The boat sailed on, all day and all night, and next morning, when the sun rose, they lost sight of Monte Cristo. When Franz had once again set foot on shore, he forgot, for the moment at least, the events which had just passed, while he finished his affairs of pleasure at Florence, and then thought of nothing but how he should rejoin his companion, who was awaiting him at Rome. He set out, and on the Saturday evening reached the Place de la Douane by the mail coach. An apartment, as we have said, had been retained beforehand, and thus he had but to go to Signor Pastrini's hotel. But this was not so easy a matter, for the streets were thronged with people, and Rome was already prey to that low and feverish murmur which precedes all great events. And at Rome there were 4 great events in every year: the Carnival, Holy Week, Corpus Christi, and the Feast of St. Peter. All the rest of the year, the city is in that state of dull apathy between life and death, which renders it similar to a kind of station between this world and the next. A sublime spot, a resting place full of poetry and character, and at which Franz had already halted 5 or 6 times, and at each time found it more marvelous and striking. I forgot that Franz had a friend. What was his name? I don't even remember. It was probably something French. Wow. Yeah, right. He and his friend were traipsing around Rome and doing all kinds of shenanigans with their money, and they were going to the carnival. Is that right? Or is the carnival about to happen? They went to Rome to go to the carnival. Had it not happened yet, and is that why everyone's kind of murmuring in the streets right now? All the townsfolk getting ready for the big event. I can't imagine if they only have 4 big events a year that they attended carnival and then waited long enough for the next one to happen. But is it carnival or carnival? I got very nervous about that pronunciation while reading it because I didn't want to confuse it with Carnival in Rio de Janeiro. But I think it is Carnival, so I'm not gonna change it. We're gonna have to just deal with that. I try to strive for accuracy here. I want to be as aware and accurate and sensitive as possible to these cultural things. So I believe it's Carnival. My research says it's Carnival. I'm sticking with Carnival. Aren't we glad we spent time discussing this today? Yeah, sorry. I just forgot that he was spending time in Rome. So now we're back here and going to Pastrini's hotel to get back into the swing of things. Franz is experiencing this sort of post-vacation malaise where if you've ever had a vacation from your day-to-day life in an exotic locale, and you get on the plane to head home after Mai Tais on the beach, there's that, well, back to the grind feeling when you're getting on the plane that's like, as you start dealing with the reality of shitty airplane passengers, that the hypnotic, dreamlike days of the vacation starts to wear off, and it becomes a, like, when you wake up in the morning and you can remember, like, an image or a theme of your dream or an emotion from a dream you had, but within a few minutes, it's just like, oh man, I had a dream and it was about, what was that dream about? That's what Franz is experiencing here. Which, last thing I'll kind of mention, as it just occurred to me, is like, we're following Franz back into his everyday life. What's the plan with Franz? Dumas, what are you doing with Franz here? Are we following him now? Is he our character? Is he going to be a main character we have to follow? Franz? Why do I care if he's going back to Rome? I just wanted to see Dante's little lair. Well, maybe that's why this chapter is so short, just to kind of interlude with Franz and then back to Dante, maybe. There's only one way to find out. And by now, you better dang all know what it is. That's to join me here tomorrow as we go into the penultimate episode of 32. Until then, okay, goodbye. The Countdown of Monte Cristo is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. This show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. Theme song by Magic Solo. If you want to support the show and others like it, visit patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.